Hey guys, this is a quick test video. I'm still getting used to my new camera, so I apologize in advance if these videos are no good or are annoying or whatever. It takes a lot of getting used to. I'm just going to do a quick run through of what's coming soon. First thing to show you guys is these two hilts. This is a Phoenix Props V2 Crossguard, and this is the Korbanth V2 Crossguard. I love the Phoenix Props. I really like it. But the price is nothing to scoff at, and even if you have the money and are willing to drop it to pick one of these up, you probably won't be able to find one anyways because they're incredibly hard to get a hold of. So that's where this Korbanth on the right hand side comes in. It's really close. I mean, we're talking incredibly close. Overall, the size wise, I think just about a dead ringer. This section right here of the hilt may be just a tiny bit wider than the Phoenix Props. But maybe not. It's real close. And the other big difference is the finish. This is done with some really high-end paint. AFX, I think, did this. No, it wasn't AFX. It was another company I'm forgetting at the moment. But this is high-end, like automotive grade paint with a semi-gloss finish. The Korbanth is done in powder coat with a matte finish. So really it comes down to personal preference on that. Do you like it shiny? Do you like it matte? But powder coat lasts better than paint if it's something you're handling day to day, if it's something you're using or playing with. So if you're gonna duel with it, powder coat is your best friend. Paint will not hold up as well. That isn't to say that the paint job on this won't hold up well, because it might. It really depends on the painting technique, the type of paint, and the level of expertise that the painter who painted it used, whether or not they really knew what they were doing. But powder coat, it's pretty hard to wear off. The other main difference, there's two additional main differences I've noticed between the PPV2 and the Korbanth. First off, the Korbanth, what I like more about it is that all of the detail elements on the PPV2 are kind of smoothed out and rounded and kind of blend into the hilt a bit, whereas the Korbanth detail and design elements are all much sharper and stand out much more. The best way to think about it is if you make a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy, or if you make a copy of a plastic toy that's been molded or just a plastic shape, and then you make a mold of that and then make another one, the more times you copy it, the more you lose the detail of the edges. And the Phoenix Props one just seems like a little of the edge detail has been lost, but it's entirely possible that they wanted to smooth out and round out the edges on things, and that it's not an issue of losing detail, it's an issue of personal preference. The other big difference is that the Korbanth has a really nicely designed crystal chamber and access ports for the hilt. So this section magnetically attached, this section also magnetically attached, and that gives you access to the internals and to your SD card or your electronics or a crystal chamber or USB, whatever it is you want to get access to, really easily. Phoenix Props, it's a solid hilt. This is a separate section, this is a separate section, and then this is a separate section. But to get into here, you have to take these three little micro screws out, and then this piece slides off. But this piece doesn't have a seam anywhere, and this section doesn't come off. This is not a split. So all of the internal components within this section here, you're not going to get to see them no matter what. You're not going to access them no matter what without taking out these screws, then sliding whatever electronics are in here all the way out. Which is fine, because typically you're not going to want to be messing around with the internals of a lightsaber. But if you do want to, or if you do need to, it's just going to be harder with this one. That being said, it doesn't mean that this can't be modified, machined, cut, redesigned to be more easily accessible. I haven't really started thinking about how I'm going to attack this one yet, but it's possible that you could cut this section here and insert an internal tube that's threaded so that this section and this section then become screw together pieces. It's also possible that you could cut horizontal section just like the Korbanth version out of this and then put magnets on it so that you could have a magnetic removal. It's, you know, all the options are available, but for the price, this guy's right around $250. You don't have to do any of that work. It looks great, it's got a terrific finish, and it's just ready to go. The other thing that I really do like a lot about the Korbanth, just personal preference, the bottom section here, I love the silver trim ring around the red pommel. I wish the Phoenix props had that element. It just makes this look that much more expensive and more high-end. Again, it really doesn't do anything, it just looks good in my opinion. But yeah, so that's what's coming. This guy is going to have a full crystal chamber install. This guy is going to have a custom full crystal chamber install, and also one thing I have actually gotten done thus far is this section down here with the see-through windows and the high-tech elements that are in there. I've actually already started working on these. Let's see if I can get it out. There we go. So this is just slides out. There's a little stem that it sits on through this hole, but all of these little design elements are actually functional pieces. This is a lithium battery charging and battery protecting circuit board. These are neopixels, neopixels, and neopixels. This is a wireless Bluetooth receiver and transmitter, and then this is just a decorative little nothing. But all of these guys, for the most part, this entire section of electronics that you see through the windows here, they're all actually electronics that are going to be integral parts of this lightsaber. So that's going to be kind of cool and kind of fun. I haven't exactly decided what I'm going to do with these neopixel accents down here. I'm thinking they're going to go up and down and around like a carousel. Just think Happy Gilmore. And then if not, they may just do some flickering, whatnot, pulsing, depending on the blade, depending on what's going on. Then the other thing I was thinking of for this build, and probably also for the Phoenix props, if you guys saw the video I did for the Darth Maul custom saber I built for Eric, that had a really cool electric spark failure damaged kind of effect going on, and I'm thinking of adding a similar effect to this cutout section. It's supposed to be damage, battle damage. So if I install some accent lighting just behind this section, the light will come up this way and it will look like the internals are zapping and electrocuting and all that good stuff. So that's a thought. The other main difference between these two is this comes with 3 blade plugs. The top one is not in. I apologize, I took that out already. But the sides are, so you can see what they look like. They're nice, they're painted already. This guy does not come with any blade plugs, but for the price you probably wouldn't expect that. And then you can also probably see here, the Korbanth has 3/4 inch side Quillins, and this has 7/8 inch side Quillins, which makes the PPV2 much easier to work with. 3/4 inch side blades are not a big deal if you're not doing string blades, but I will be doing neopixel string blades on this, so I'm either going to have to bore this out to 7/8 inch, or I'm going to have to get real creative about how I make 3/4 inch string blades, because anyone who's built string blades in the past will tell you it's 3/4 inches is getting awfully small to be doing a string blade that looks good. Right. Next up. Been excited about this one for a while. This is an Ultimate Works Count Dooku. Love the presentation box that it comes in. Love the finish. The only thing I've done to this so far is to, obviously, to assemble it, but also this section here, when you receive it, when you buy it, this is a matte finish that looks gray and pitted. I don't know why they did that. I think it looked awful, so I sanded and polished this section so that the whole thing has the same finish. Now it blends in pretty much perfectly. If I didn't know it had been done, I wouldn't have thought it ever had. Let me see if I've got something to compare it to. Yeah, you know what I do? Let's see if I can find that real quick. This is the finish that this section had. So this section from here to here looked like this when I received it, and I don't know, I don't get it, but at any rate, it's an easy fix. It doesn't take a lot of work to go from that to this, so that's coming. That's gonna have a semi-basic install, no crystal chamber, but I'm using the Dimitri Stock Custom Works chassis on it, TC Saber neopixels. I'm gonna try to get creative with some accent lighting. And then finally, actually no, there's two more. This guy is one I'm real excited about. Excuse the unpacking here, but this guy's got such a great finish. I really don't want to risk any scratches on it while it's in staging, so I've got it really wrapped up and protected. This is the Tusken Slayer from Watto's Junkyard. This thing is beautiful. The thing that really, I mean, aside from the fact that it's ultra premium, you know, you pay for what you get. These were expensive. I think they were $450 to $500 a piece. Shipping was expensive. The wait was a long time, but I have to say, well worth the wait. The finish, the fit and finish on these, the machining, everything is incredible. They're beautiful, and down to even like the littlest details. You know, these little the brass greeble here, this little screw, the powder coating on these black pieces, powder coating here, powder coating here. Everything is just flawless, perfectly done. These little tiny design elements here, the red and green LED implements, perfectly chromed. Everything is just beautiful. Everything lines up incredibly well. But the coolest thing about this guy, I think, in my opinion, is the overall scale of it. Here's a Graflex. This is the, oh boy, what's it called? The Maker of Props stainless steel Graflex here. But this is a standard size, similar to a Graflex 2.0 or a Roman Props Graflex. Look at the size of this guy. I mean, this thing is very small, very slim. This is a small saber, this Graflex. It's accurate to what a real Graflex would be. This guy has got this thing all day long as far as being thinner and just more, I don't want to call it petite, but it is. It's really a small, elegant, compact lightsaber, and It's great as a one-handed lightsaber. The weight is perfect. It's not too heavy, but it's not too light. But when this thing is finished, built with a nice neopixel string blade, it's gonna look and feel incredible to have it in hand, but have the full, all the effects that you can get from a Teensy saber and neopixels into such a tiny compact size with such really nice design and elegance. This is gonna be a phenom build. The only thing I've done with this so far is assembled it, and I also couldn't wait for Shapeways to hurry up and send me the chassis, so I built the other night, I built my own version of the spring-loaded switch mechanism using 2 screws, 2 springs, and a section of plastic that I trimmed myself. So the idea is these LEDs press down on the screws, and the bottom of the screw pushes a button that's on the chassis on the inside. And surprisingly enough, it only took about half an hour to do this, and it was totally on a whim, but the mechanism actually works perfectly. So if you set this guy in on those 2 magnets, you'll note that the 2 middle LEDs independently go up and down, and I'm really kind of impressed at how well this, homemade knockoff version that I built works. I probably won't end up using it for this one because I've got the printed Shapeways part coming. Should be here any day, but it's kind of cool that it worked. So that's that guy. And then the only other one to tell you guys about is the Graflex 3.0 display saber that my customer Rickard sent me. He ordered it from Korbanth. It's one of the Graflex 3.0 standard Graflex 3.0s that Korbanth did, where the sections are all magnetically attached and you can pull it all apart to kind of make a reveal, more of a display piece. I'm going to do that and build it into a fully functional working lightsaber with crystal chamber and crystal reveal and accent lighting, but it's still going to have all the internal structure that Korbanth put in it, as well as all the different removable doors and panels and windows, so you can see all the internals when you're not running around swinging around. So that's what I've got coming. I think that's about it for now. Yeah, thanks for checking in, and hope this video isn't terrible.